Okay, then let us continue, or let us better say let's start with the petrology of the magmatites. So if we are talking about magmatites, then we are talking about igneous rocks. So in these igneous rocks, we can subdivide in different classes. We have the plutonic rocks, and we have the subvolcanic rocks, and we have the volcanic rocks. Great, thank you. Because it's hot today. So, and what is now a magmatite? I mean, before you are forming a magmatite, you have a melt. So, and if this melt crystallizes, then you are forming from the crystallizing melt a magmatite, yeah? So, and these plutonic rocks, let's just show them. Check them again here. Here we have a gabbro that is a plutonic rock, yeah? So in these plutonic rocks, they are more coarse-grained, and they are more coarse-grained because the crystallization processes took quite some time, because the melt is cooling down very slowly, yeah? So and therefore minerals has time to crystallize, yeah? You know this stuff by now. So whereas if you have a volcanic rock, like this one here, there you cannot see any crystals inside, because the volcanic rock is an extrusive rock. That means it comes to the Earth's surface and then it crystallizes very fast, because it becomes cooled down or will cool down very fast. Yeah? So or even if it comes in contact with water, yeah? So if you are forming the oceanic crust, and so melt, which becomes in contact with water, they are cooling them down very, very fast, and they are forming then the basalt. So and if you are going back to your ES303 field trip, or to the ES303, I don't know if they have shown it to you. You can find here this chilled margins around the basalts, yeah? And that is these basalts included underwater, then they become cooled down very fast, and then you have these fine-grained basalts. So whereas if you are just checking this gabbro which I showed you around, then you can see this is coarse-grained, but the gabbro is chemically the same as a basalt. Yeah? It's just cooled down more slowly. That means the gabbro is not coming in contact with the hot or with the water. So if you are making just our picture here we have CC, our continental crust. So then you have here your dipping mantle slab. So that is the thinner part, that is OC. That stands for oceanic crust. So and below this dipping mantle slab, you have to, or below this dipping oceanic crust, you have then the lersulites, and that is the slab itself. And these lersulites, or the slab itself, consists of peridotites. So there we have peridotites. So and here in the middle, we are forming here, we have the middle ocean ridge. So and at the middle ocean ridge, we are forming a very primitive magma. You will learn later in the class what this means. And here we have the water. So and here at the middle ocean ridge, you are producing these gabbros and these basalts from here, yeah? The basalts on the top, below the gabbros. And then you have the peridotites below, and the peridotites are this kind of stuff here, yeah? Here there is dunite, and you will find dunite is a peridotite which contains more than 90% of the mineral olivine. The mineral olivine is in the Earth's mantle and in the slab very, very important because the mineral olivine forms 67% of all the minerals in the Earth's mantle. 67. It has normally in the Earth's mantle an XMG of 0.9. So now we are producing here at the top, I mean here very at the top we have some sediments, yeah. Then below you have basalts, then you have gabbros, and then you have the peridotites. So in these peridotites you can subdivide in lersolites, in harzburgites, and in the dunites, and there are some special forms like the pyroxenites and like the Wehrleit. So, here below you have the asthenosphere from the mantle, that is a pyrolite, yeah. A pyrolite is from the composition like a lersolite. So, but the pyrolite, that is, the composition is just a model estimation, yeah, because nobody could by now collect the pyrolite because you cannot just reach it. So and now we are forming, we can form here magma, then we have here, that is the middle ocean ridge basalt, yeah, and the middle ocean ridge, that is actually the biggest basalt producer or gabbro producer or fresh rock producer, yeah, that is the right word, where you form new crustal material, that is the ocean ridge system, because the ocean ridges are all in all 70,000 kilometers in length. Yeah. So and you can see them very nicely here on this map. Here at the Atlantic you have them very nicely. It just goes here in the middle between North America, Europe, and South America and Africa. You have very nicely the middle ocean ridge. So, but here you have also in the Pacific here the middle ocean ridges, and in the Indian Ocean. So, and the important thing with the middle ocean ridges, that is actually the engine for plate tectonic, because you are producing here new material. So, and that leads to the movement of this plate to this side and this plate to this side. So now we are bringing down this slab. So and then the hydrous minerals here become molten. So and then you are forming here new melt. So and you are forming here melt like this. So and some of these bubbles will rise up to the surface, and then they will create here a volcano. Yeah? So and these rocks which you are sampling here produced by the volcano, and those rocks which you are sampling here produced by the volcano, they are chemically totally different. Yeah? Because there are a lot of processes, and I will tell you about these processes in the following weeks. How the chemistry and therefore the mineralogy and will then change. Yeah? And therefore we are discussing, of course, the middle ocean ridges. Then we are discussing here the volcanoes on the continental side. So, but for example, if you are going to Japan, then you have not a collision with the ocean between the oceanic lithospheric plate and the continental plate. There you have the collision between the oceanic lithosphere and another oceanic lithosphere. Yeah? I will show you the pictures. Therefore, you produce then again another magma. So, and then you have the OIPs. Then you have the OIPs. So, and where do you think you have the next OIP? OIPs, these are ocean island basalts. So in the melt for these ocean island basalts, and that I will also show you then later when we are discussing them in detail, they are also completely different from the others. They are also completely different from the others because they have another source. Another source where the melt becomes, or where the melt was formed. They are forming here at about 600, in a depth of about 670 Ks. So, and they are such plumes, and then they are rising up, and then they are creating here the next volcano. So, and where can you find this stuff like here? I mean, on what you are sitting here. I mean, of course, you are sitting now on a chair, but I mean, on which rocks, or which rocks are made up Fiji. These are ocean island basalts. So that is then the situation here. So when there the veld was created, or there this veld is actually enriched compared to the middle, or to the veld from the middle ocean ridges. But it is completed compared to the veld of this. So because there you have the assimilation and contamination from the continental crust. So and somewhere here, your plum, there is a plum here, yeah? Becomes stacked. So and there where the plum stacks, you are cooling your melt down slowly, and that means you are forming the plutonic, yeah, instead of a volcanic. So in such ocean island basalts, you can also find somewhere else, and there you have a big chain of ocean island basalts. These are the hotspots of Hawaii. So in the Hawaiian hotspots, they are lying on a line. So because the plum is stacking in the ground, and then the oceanic plate is moving above, and always when the plum releases then some melt, then you are forming a volcano at the top, and therefore you are forming then a chain. So if you are studying all the rocks from the volcanoes in this chain, then you can also observe a chemical variation, because while such a plum is stuck in somewhere, due to differentiation, fractionation, and contamination and assimilation processes, the melt will always change the chemical composition. So in such things we will do here in class. We will check the different geotectonic settings of the different occurrences worldwide for different indigenous rocks. So, and then we will compare them with each other, and that is chemically and metrologically, and also by using just hand specimens. So, and therefore one can subdivide, or in summary one can say, we have petrographic observations, So, and what are petrographic observation? A petrographic observation, that is a classical classification. So, and how does this classical classification works? You can do it very easily. You are just taking a hand space and describing it. Yeah, that is petrography. Yeah? So, and the next thing to this, that would mean you are using, you are making from your hand specimen a thin section, and then you are describing all the minerals under the microscope. That is petrography. Yeah? And then you can use these classification diagrams, which I have handed out to you in ES303, for this QAPF for the granites, for example, or the triangles for the peridotites, or the triangles for the gabbros. So, and then you can count the number of the minerals inside that you can do under the microscope, or you can just take such a thin section, scan it in, and then you can calculate the volumetric occurrences of the different minerals inside. So, and then you have described them petrographically. For a petrographic description, you don't need any high-tech analytical facilities. So, and that is the classification what the guys have done in the old days. So, and that means then observation and description of the occurrence. So that means just where you have taken this sample, yeah? So that is the next thing what you should then do in the field. You are walking around in the field, and then you can see all these rocks. So, and then you should describe them in the field book, where you found them, and in which context you found them, if there are some features like a fault zone, or if it comes from a volcanic neck, and then all these observations, that is the first way. So, and then it's always very important when you are doing this in the field, that you have always a scale with you, yeah, you can use a hammer, yeah, it should be a scale which has always the same size, yeah. So a pencil is not as good because the pencil becomes then always shorter, yeah. And humans becoming always bigger, and then they are becoming again shorter. So you should then use a scale which have always the same size, or you can use a coin, yeah? So, but coins are actually not that good Because if you are traveling like we around the whole world and describing their rocks, then in every country they have different coins, and all these coins are of different size. Yeah? So the hammer is actually wood. So then you are describing the structure. So that means while you are describing the structure, that means if the rock is coarse-grained, if it is fine-grained, such things. Or if it is fine-grained and you have some xenocrystal inside, all these things. So and then you are describing the composition. So and while you are describing the composition, I mean, here you are just using the headlands and describing the type of minerals you can observe. Yeah? So, and that is then one part of the fieldwork. Yeah? And the fieldwork counts 20%. Yeah? So, and then we have the next thing that is then the petrological classification. So the petrological classification, that is then a little bit more complicated. Because there you are studying then the processes of the rock formation. So and there you need then quite some high-resolution analytical facilities. So while you are studying the process of the rock formation, that means you are studying the physics, or in English is a physics with a C, is it? Yeah, and chemistry. Of the source, or source rock is not good, that is not scientifically correct. Of the protolite. So while you are studying the physics and the chemistry of the protolite, that means this rock, when we are talking about ageless rocks, these rocks has been before a melt. So now we would like to figure out, or I would like to figure out, what was the composition of the melt, and how was then where does the melt come from? Yeah. So I would like to identify if I'm sitting in this area, or if I'm sitting in this area, or if I'm sitting in this area. So and then you can study this, and then you know how the rock was formed. So now one can say, or could say, why it is easy, it must be easy. I'm just sampling here a rock, and then it is an oceanic basalt, and of course it will then also be one, yeah. But at first one had to figure out it, because there are some people, they are claiming that here is a subduction zone, but there is no subduction zone at all, as I showed you last week. The next thing is since the Earth's history or since Earth exists. Yeah, the plate at first we had it was just a magma wall, and then we had four first continental crusts. So and then the plates started to move, and they were always moved around, and they are still moving around. Yeah. So and then we would like to reconstruct what happens over the last 4,600 million years. So because, for example, 2,500 million years ago, it looks totally different from the situation as today, since today. And therefore, we would like to get more information about the Earth's history. So, but we are also interested in the development of magma and crystallization processes. So because, as I told you last week, we have at first a melt. So and then you are crystallizing from this melt different minerals, and these minerals are crystallizing at different temperatures. Yeah? So and if you are going back to your ES306 document, there is a PowerPoint inside showing Bowen's row or Bowen's sequence. Yeah? So, and that is this sequence, yeah? So you are starting at first to crystallize water free minerals, and therefore you are enriching the melt with other minerals or other elements, which are incompatible. So we will then also talk about in this class about compatible and incompatible elements. So, and that means here now in summary, the metrology summarize mineralogy petrography, and what else? Geochemistry, the crystal chemistry, there we are writing method crystallography, so, and that I will show you now where we have the wooden boxes. You know, we got now a lot of new toy sets here. The crystallography, the thermodynamic, that is what I'm doing. The thermodynamic, and the way of rock formation into physical physical and chemical equilibrium. So the rock which I showed you last week from my own studies in ES301, that was physically and thermodynamically not in equilibrium at all. So, but because that was a metamorphic. So in metamorphic processes, these are diffusion controlled. So whereas magmatic processes are controlled by crystallization, assimilation, contamination, and differentiation. So and here we have our wooden models. So and these wooden models are very, very nice. Therefore I ordered them. Here we have, for example, this model, yeah? And that is a cube, yeah? So and that is one crystallographic symmetry. I mean, the crystallographic symmetries, they are, we have trigonal, we have tricline, we have monocline, we have tetragonal, we have cubes, and we have the hexagonal system. So, and while we are crystallizing minerals in a melt, then they are following their crystallographic symmetry, yeah? So that is not if you are using just or collecting minerals, then they are not cut like this. They occur in nature like this. Yeah. So and here we have another thing from our toy sets. Here, for example, that is very nice. Here we have the wooden model, and here we have the original iron. So they are going like this. So that's the same here. And there's a hand will take care again. That is our diamond, and you can see that the diamond is also a cube. So and therefore we have here a lot of these models, yeah, all the symmetries, and depends what type of mineral it is, they were following this symmetry. So but very often the minerals are xenomorph and following not the symmetry. So what happens then? There was not enough time and not enough space for them to crystallize. So then, for example, we have here a hexagonal symmetry, yeah? Because you have 6 corners, and the angle between all these corners is 60 degrees. Now we are looking for the parts. Here we have the parts with the hexagonal symmetry. So when they are following all this rule, yeah? So and that is the nice thing when you are doing mineralogy, not geology, not geography or other geosciences. If you are doing mineralogy and petrology and all these things, all the things are fitting together like Lego. because you can all build up from with your atoms, and these atoms are in a lattice, and they are arranged in a certain way. So I showed you this last semester, just to make the connection that you are not hanging in the air now. Yeah, can you just clean the board? That would be nice. So now we have to do some definitions, and with this definition, that we can later on play around. Now we have to define what is a magma. Yeah, you know by now a magma is a melt. Yeah. So and such a magma can be or is very mobile. Yeah. So it can be very fast, or it is more slow like a duck. Yeah. I mean, you will see this then when you are doing your experiments, yeah. So if you are increasing the viscosity, then the floating behavior of your melt will change completely. So and then you have in this magma different processes. That is then the fractionation. That means you are crystallizing minerals, and these minerals are sinking to the bottom. Those minerals with having a higher density, sinking to the bottom. Those minerals having a lower density, they will swim up. So if I'm looking for this one, there you have these white minerals inside, yeah? So these white minerals are what? A very common white mineral. White is the plagioclase. So, and I told you that the plagioclase has, compared to the surrounding melt, a lower density if the plagioclase is calcium rich. That means have a high anorthite component, and if you have a mafic melt. So then the plagioclase will float up. So, and you have seen this in the field trip, have been in Zambula. No, not Zambula. You know this one on the river. You know, close to Nandi.
Yes.
Yes. So, and there you saw this mixture between mafic rocks and felsic rocks, and the felsic rocks are the most common mineral in these felsic rocks. That is plagioclase, and the plagioclase here in melt is then just loading up on the chamber, yeah? So, and if you are checking the others, I mean, you saw there are also a lot of andesites, and the andesites you can distinguish between two andesites here. That is the plagioclase andesite, and then you have the orgite andesite. So it is somebody from Koro. Nobody from Koro. So, but in Koro you can find all these different andesites. You are just walking above them, yeah? So, and then you can see them with all these different needles inside. So, in Koro you can also find all these peridotites. You can find their dunite, you can find their spinel-lersonite, and you can find their harzburgites. So now we need a definition what a magma is. So what is a magma? So a magma is a melt, and that is a mobile. So it is a mobile melt. So and what is the or the most common melt time? What is the most common element in the most common melt time? It's actually an element which you can find in more than 90% of all melts which you can find here on this planet. Yes, it's silica. So, so that these are mobile silicate melts. So in these mobile silicate melts, they have then a different viscosity, yeah? So if you have an acid melt, that means a felsic melt, then the melt is less mobile. So if the melt is more mafic, then the melt is more mobile. So, and what is then the reason for that? What is the reason for that? I told you this also last semester. That is a very, very important process because it has a very strong influence on all the different melt types, and it has also a very strong influence on the formation of ore deposits, yeah? And it has also a very strong influence of the examination at the end of the year, because there I have this question or something like this. So what influences the mobility? We have here a silicate melt. So, and where is the silica in a mineral? In which coordination? Sitting always in the tetrahedrons. You remember this from last semester? You have the tetrahedron. So, and inside the tetrahedron, we have then a silica. So, and outside of the tetrahedron, we are making this in blue bubbles. So, and here outside we cannot see it because the silica is sitting before. So, and here, what do we have here? Here we have the oxygen. So, and if we have a melt which has a lot of silica inside, then we have a lot of tetrahedrons inside. So, and that means we are just connecting one tetrahedron with the other one. So, and then you can here hang the next one, it's up to you. You can do this endless, you can make a very nice pattern for your room by using all these tetrahedrons. So, and if you have a lot of these tetrahedrons and they are connected with each other, then you have a high silica concentration in your melt, and that means the melt is less mobile because they are forming then a network. Yeah? So if you have a net, you know a net, what they are also using for fishing, and the single cells are much more wide, then it is much more easier to fold and so on. Yeah. So, and it is much more mobile. So whereas if the network is very closed, so then the mobility of the melt becomes lower. So, and if you have the less tetrahedrons inside, then you cannot form all these bridges between, yeah? So, and then the viscosity is then lower and the mobility is higher. So, and therefore a mafic melt, you know, a melt which forms a basalt or so, is much faster on the road compared to an acid melt, yeah? That's actually all. So, and then we have a mobile silicate melt with at least one. So what we add, what we need also in our melt. It's the same way you can do the same in the kitchen. You are cooking something and what you need always. Water, yeah. I mean heat as well, of course. So but water, yeah, and that is in nature the same. So and if you like to understand metrology, you can just do this at home and in the kitchen. So then you need what we have now to be professional, and therefore we have to write down with at least one liquid phase. And that could be also beer, yeah? So you can also practice it in the evening in the pub. So and these liquid phases consist of water and so and what else? What is another very important phase in such beside water? There's not too much about. I mean, you can buy this aqua safe water. Yeah, there's only water inside, and you can buy sparkling water. And what is there additionally inside? There's gas inside, CO2. Yeah. So and then you have and other gas phases. So then we have the liquid phase. So but the water under such conditions, and when you are going back to your ES303 documents, then you know that the water under such condition, I mean, when we have 700 degrees Celsius or something like this, then there is not a tap water, yeah? So that is then a liquid phase, so we are calling it then actually a plasma under very hypercritical conditions. So, and what else does such a melt contain? So that is the melt itself, but it contains can also, but it can also contain. So what can it contain as well? You must just look this stuff here, what can it contain? Can it contain as well? Here, this one, yeah. So if you are looking at this diorite, then you have, instead of the white inclusions inside, you have black inclusions inside. So, and these minerals, they have been picked up by the melt. So they can then also, but it can also contain other solid phases. So and these solid phases are in suspension. In suspension. Going back to your cooking pot, when do you have something in suspension in the cooking pot? You have the water and, for example, the noodles. So then the noodles are in suspension in the cooking pot. So whereas the salt which you are putting in, that becomes dissolved, yeah? The noodles will not dissolve. Yeah, they're just becoming soft, and that can happen to these minerals which you have as xenocrysts in also. So, and after solidification, you have then what? You have a magmatite. You have then a magmatite, yeah, if you can just increase the form. So the next question is, where does such a magma form? Yeah, you need actually a high temperature. Yeah, you mentioned this just before. Yeah, you need always heat. Without heat, you are making no magma. You need always this change in temperature. So then, what do you need else? Pressure. So, and the pressure you have in the Earth's mantle and in the Earth's crust. So, and therefore, magmas are formed Therefore, magmas are formed in the Earth's mantle, in the Earth's crust, yeah? So we can just make a notice. Magmas maybe we have to wait a little bit. Magmas are formed in the Earth's mantle and crust under special conditions. So therefore we are forming then a magma. The temperature of silicate melts the temperature of a silicate melt range between 700 degrees Celsius and 1200 degrees Celsius, yeah? So then except of carbonatites, and We will also talk in class about carbonatites. Except of carbonatites, all melts are silicate melts. So except of carbonatites, all melts are silicate melts. So when there is only a few carbonate volcanoes around, and the most famous carbonite volcano, that is the Oidenko in Tanzania. And the carbonatitic melt is not that hot like a silicate melt, yeah? So, and therefore carbonatite melts are also very, very dangerous, because if you are going out, I mean, if you are visiting a volcano, then usually you have a tent with you and then you are sleeping somewhere, yeah? So, and if you are going then out during the night to have your BB, yeah, then you cannot see the carbonatitic melt, because the carbonatitic melt is about 500 degrees hot, and they are then not reddish, yeah. So they are grayish, and then you then it is very difficult to walk around because you cannot see it, and then you are stepping in, and to burn your leg. I mean, if you have 500 degrees Celsius, then it's a good barbecue. So therefore we can distinguish our melt for different magma types using the different bulk composition, yeah? I mean, we have now most of the melts are silicate melt, and here where I have just a diagram for you showing the average composition, showing the average composition of magmatites. So then we are starting here with acid or felsic, yeah? So, and what is then a felsic rock? A felsic rock is, for example, granite, yeah? So, and here in VT you can find the tonalites, and the tonalite is a granite, but the tonalite does not contain K-feldspar. So because for the formation of the tonalite, the potassium is missing. So and that is such a tonalite. So and you can see it is a very light color rock. Yeah? So in this light color, that is then the plagioclase, and the silver shiny mineral inside, that is then what? a very glassy, hard mineral. It's just lying here around, and I can see it in her hand, but it is not a diamond. What is it then? That's the quartz, yeah. The quartz, that is the rock-forming mineral number 1 in felsic rocks. So in the typical felsic rock, that is a granite. So now we are going in composition to intermediate. So if you are talking about intermediate rocks, then you have the granodiorite, and then the diorite. So then we need here a diorite. Here we have quartz diorite, yeah. So that here you have also a pinkish mineral inside, and then is the matrix one. So and then we are going next to basic or mafic minerals, or mafic rocks. So here we have then the mafic rocks. So and what is then a typical mafic rock, which you just have held in your hands before? That is the gabbro. Yep. So and therefore you have different gabbros. The one which I gave you around, that is an olivine gabbro. Yeah. So but you can have also a quartz here in gabbro, or you can have an olivine here in gabbro, or the gabbro does not have any quartz and not. Does not have any quartz and no olivine. So we will discuss this later when we are talking about the basalt tetrahedron. So you have then at first a gabbro. So and now I lost my pen. That one, yeah. Thanks. So then we are putting here the gabbro. And here we are putting the olivine gabbro. So and what do we have next? We have next ultramafic. So and what is then an ultramafic rock? You had it also today or already in your hands. These are the peridotites, yeah? So these are the peridotites. So now which main oxides, I mean these oxides which I mentioned now, they are our element oxides which I mentioned now, occur in all three, or occur in all these different rocks, but in different concentration. So in which very important oxide element or element increases from here to here. You can find it in the granite and in the diorites and so on as a mineral. So that is the SiO2. That increases from here to here. So which other elements are also increasing from ultramafic to rocks of felsic composition? So yeah, which elements are also increasing together with increasing silica? The potassium and the sodium. But you are right, the aluminium as well. Then you have K2O, Na2O, and Al2O3. So and now we are going the opposite way around. Which elements increasing from left to the right? That means they are increasing while we have a felsic rock and going to an ultramafic rock. So if you are looking for the main rock forming mineral in the mantle rocks, yeah, I told you that is the mineral olivine, yeah. So what elements you will find in an olivine? So you must just write down the formula and then you can tell me. So otherwise you have to check the formula and then you can tell me. So I mean the typical mantle olivine, that is a forsterite and that is a Mg2 SiO4, and therefore we have here increasing concentration of MgO, FeO, and CaO. So and now we should have the projector, then we can just show, I can just show you some pictures. And the stick. Can you also map out till tomorrow or tomorrow before class the other winner? Yeah, just to know that there are still a lot of records. I will just see what else is here and I will just people up. So then it is this folder. So yeah, here I have just some pictures which I would like to show you. And these are pictures which I made by myself from my own volcano tours. Yeah. So and this was 1998 in Italy in Stromboli. So and you can make during the night very, very nice pictures. So 2 years ago, when I did for the first time this class, we planned actually to go to Vanuatu. You know there is the Tana. Who is from Vanuatu? Yeah? Yes, there is the Tana. So but then the students made fundraising, yeah, because it is very expensive to go there. So and we did not get enough money together. But if somebody has the chance to visit Tana, then must be beautiful. I will go there as soon as I can normally walk again. Yeah. So because on Tana they have on the neighbor crater, well, maybe you can explain it by yourself. Have you been there? You have been there. Yes. I mean you can go there to these wooden tree houses. So here there are wooden tree houses. So I mean, at first you have to do an inland flight visit, and then you are using a bus to go there, and then a donkey. Donkey. So and then you can go into these three houses, and then you can watch it during the night. And here I have done this in Sicily. So, and that is the Stromboli volcano in Sicily, and the Stromboli volcano in Sicily is as good like Tana, because they are erupting every 15 minutes to 20 minutes, something like this is Tana erupting, yeah. And the Stromboli is also erupting every 20 minutes, and you can be sure when you are going there that something happens, yeah. So, because it is never more disappointed in life to visiting a volcano which is not working, yeah? So, and if you are going there during the night on Stromboli, it is so you are going just to the neighbor caldera, and then you are going there during the night, you can use your camera, and then you have to stabilize it, you know, with a study, and then you are opening the aperture maybe 20 or 30 seconds ago along, and then you get this very, very nice light bands. So, and that is actually very great, yeah? Then you can go to the next slide. So, and that is another volcano, that is the Etna from inside. So because I was on the top of Etna and then I watched inside the caldera, and that was then quite dangerous. I mean, nothing happened to me, but a colleague of mine got such a basaltic bomb on his head. Yeah, I mean he is still alive because it was just a small bomb. Yeah. So therefore, if you are visiting Tama, you have to be carefully. You have always to check what happens above you. Yeah, because it can hit you very heavily. Yeah. So and therefore, it is actually better to use a helmet. Yeah. So, and that is inside Etna, that was also 90, maybe we can switch off the light. That was also in 1998, and we were, when there I was still a student, you know, it's now 20 years ago. It's better, yeah. So indeed, it's now 20 years ago, and it is really a very, very impressive. You know, the void, when it starts to erupt, is like if you are using a broom and you are polishing the teeth from a crocodile. It goes and it goes up like hell there. Yeah, I mean the whole earth is shaking. Yeah. So, and Etna is a very dangerous volcano, and they have in Sicily. I mean, not all people are happy when such a volcano erupts. Yeah. And they have at Etna, the volcano is producing then a lot of magma flows. The magma flows are actually not that dangerous because they are not that fast, and so people can escape. Yeah. Whereas if such a volcano produces a lot of ash, so then these ash flows are very hot and very dangerous. They are going down the hill maybe with a speed of 200 kilometers per hour, and they have a temperature of about 1,200 degrees Celsius, and then it gets very, very fast, very, very hot. And there was a couple from France, that was Maurice and Monica Kraft. They have done, both of them have been volcanologists, visited a lot of volcanoes, and in 1993 they were catched by such an ash flow. Yeah? And of course they have not survived. So next slide. So they're listed also on the top of Etna. And these are such magma flows, yeah? So, and that is also a very dangerous thing when you are walking around there, yeah? I mean, on Tama, you can actually also go much more closer, yeah? So, and this is a very dangerous thing because here, this melt is maybe between 1,000 and 1,200 degrees Celsius hot, yeah, something like this. So, and if it comes then in contact with the surrounding air, then it forms here a skin, yeah, and this skin cools down very fast. So, and then it is black. So, and that is very dangerous when you are walking around and you are standing on such a skin, and it breaks down, yeah? So next slide. So yeah, that's the same. I mean, here you have then just more solidified magma, and here is still melt. And here you have also a lot of sulfur, yeah? So and that comes then everywhere out on the flanks of the volcano. Yeah. Yeah, that was also then Etna from above. I was then just standing here, yeah, and here you have the formation of this crater or small caldera inside, And Satan will show it to you that also in these experiments by using these chemicals there you can see it very, very beautiful how it forms. Yeah. So next slide. So that is then again stromboli that was then just during the day while I was walking up. Yes, as well stromboli. And this is as well stromboli. So this is not stromboli. This is just a dead gypsum, gypsum of a dead body found in at the Pompeii eruption. And the Pompeii eruption was a very big volcanic eruption in 79 after Jesus. So this, and I mean this, the town, I mean the volcano is the Vesuve, and the town below that was Pompeii. So it was Pompeii, yeah? So and then just a couple of years ago, maybe 30 years, 40 years, something like this, people started to work on this old town Pompeii, because the Vesuve produced huge masses of ash flows. So in these ash flows, they are not very stable. If you are just watching the news from this earthquake, which was recently in Thailand, yeah, there was an earthquake, and there you could see all the big buildings, they are not crashed, but they are standing like this. So and that is the same feature like in Mexico City, because these cities are made up of ash flows. So and the ash flows are very, very soft. So and if the underground starts then to shake, then the building flips. So it is then not a good place to building up a skyscraper. So but anyway, then the scientists have been walking around in the old Pompeii town, and I mean these ash flows are very soft, yeah? And then you can just stick every few meters or centimeters, you can make a hole in the ground, yeah? So just of this size. So and then they found a lot of air bubbles below. So and then they have just used these holes and filled up these air bubbles with gypsum, and then they found the negative of human bodies and from dogs and cats and everything. So in all of them, I mean the guy is just lying on his bed and sleeping, yeah? So and that shows us that the eruption must have taken place tonight. So and the eruption must have taken place very fast, yeah? Because they are just sleeping, yeah? And such an ash flow is very fast. As I just told you before, the ash goes down the hill with a speed of 200 kilometers, yeah? It is just there. So and people has also not recognized other sites. So because if you are expecting a volcanic eruption, or if you are expecting an earthquake or something else, yeah, then the behavior of the animals will change. So for example, an earthquake will not come from today to tomorrow, and the volcanic eruption will also is sending signals years before the volcano erupts. And people has not recognized this, and then they will be just catched by this volcanic ash while they are sleeping. Next slide. So that is then again back to Etna, and here you can see this formation of the caldera in nature. That again This is again Stromboli. That is also on Etna. No, that is not on Etna. That is, I think it is also on Stromboli. So, and that is on Vulcano. That is also a volcano in South Italy. And there you can see everywhere the sulfur. So, and if you are, we will visit them during our field trip, we will also visit, you know, Lambasa. Is somebody from Lambasa? So, at close to Lambasa, you have hot springs. So, and these hot springs close to Lambasa, they are very sticky. And they are smelling after bad egg. Yeah? So, and that is the sulfur from the underground. As you will see later on, in the same week, you will see the hot springs in the Savu Savu area. And the hot springs in the Savu Savu area, they are not sticky. So that means there is no sulfur inside. So that means the reason why, or the source where this water become heated up is different from those water in Lambasa. Or the rocks where it becomes heated up, showing a different composition, one have to check it. Next slide. So, and that is then also Stromboli by night. That was actually a very good shot. Next slide. That was also a good shot from Stromboli tonight. So, and that was a thermodynamic experiment. That was then a kitchen experiment, which I have made on the Etna. So, where is now the kitchen? Yes, you can just see it in the middle. I put a tomato there. So, and I was surprised how long the tomato survived. The tomato survived a couple of minutes, yeah? And I mean it's about 1200 degrees hot. And I mean, I did not try it to take out the tomato again, yeah? So yeah, that's again Stromboli by night. And the Etna while it was erupting. Yes, and we had already this slide. So, and then we are done for today.